Hello all and welcome back. I hope you're all doing really well. Thank you again for the love and support on the most recent video. As always, I seriously appreciate it. This video again is going to be talking about a lot of the stuff that's happening in the Hedera ecosystem, as well as the crypto markets across the board. I've got some different updates for Hedera staking, as well as the Stader staking, the liquid staking protocol, which obviously I've spoken about at length on the channel. There's been some changes to the different rewards, as well as some huge spikes in the total value locked across the platform, as well as some potential delays to native staking that we can see via the Hedera roadmap. Before I jump into any of that additional news, I also want to cover some more information regarding NFTs on Hedera as things continue taking great strides forward. And I appreciate that many of those of you who watch these videos aren't always fully up to date with how to get involved in these secondary marketplaces as well as mints. Now, in a previous video, I spoke about primary versus secondary markets for NFTs and also how to get involved with different projects. And I thought I'd put together a couple of really simple infographics to take through and then also look at some of these utility projects that have done very well recently and look like they will continue to do well in the future. So the main differences between primary versus secondary. So let's cover primary first, and this is typically called the initial mint. So you'll see that tossed around an awful lot on Twitter and different Discord servers talking about initial mints on these different platforms, these kind of launch pads at set dates across the world. These can be of two different flavors. Fully open minting experiences where there are no kind of whitelist or prerequisites in order to get involved. A classic example of this is Dead Pixels Ghost Club, where of course there are no reserved NFTs for any parties involved. It is a completely open and fair experience where first come, first served takes place. On the opposite hand, you can have whitelist mints which run potentially hours or even days earlier than the initial open mint, and there can also be additional discounts depending on the platform and the project themselves. So a classic one of these could have been something like the Pengupals mint, where there were whitelist tokens, and plenty of other mints as well have used whitelist tokens or NFTs that have been airdropped to wallets or that you can purchase ahead of time in order to get an initial drop. A classic one again is Hungry Baboons with their gold banana coins. Obviously that gives you some early access to a mint before the public mint goes live. And we've seen this before as well with things like PandaVision. I've covered several of these on the channel. Now, there are various different launch pads or NFT sort of minting marketplaces, let's say. Some of the biggest being 𝗟𝗘𝗏𝗦, HashTool, ZUSE Marketplace, Dropper, and there are various other ways that these mints can take place. And the best way to stay in the loop with majority of these projects is of course Twitter and Discord. And of course, things like this YouTube channel. I do cover some of these different projects as I am big on my utility going forward. And that is something that I think will do very well, as we have seen on previous chains, previous DeFi ecosystems that have grown from very small infrastructural sort of ideas into very large scale operations, which of course is what is happening to Hedera. Now, if you miss all of the initial mints and you don't get any of those NFTs from those sort of places, you can of course head over to a secondary marketplace. So the NFTs have been minted and those IDs are now live within the ecosystem, and these can then be bought up in a open market, so to speak. So NFTs are available to purchase or for purchase within the open market. The largest players on Hedera are ZUSE.market and Hashaxis. I pretty much predominantly use ZUSE Market. I can't remember the last time I've used Hashaxis. ZUSE has by far the largest amount of volume. You see a lot of the statistics that I drop, as well as not only that, supported projects. Collections have to be added by the platform in order to be sold via that platform. So only sort of collections that have been requested to be added to ZUSE will be available for sale and purchase on the platform. You have the ability to participate in auctions. You have the ability to buy directly from the marketplace at the listed price. So think about how eBay works, for example. You can either bid on an auction for a particular item, or you can do a direct buy. And you also have the ability to directly negotiate with the buyer and seller through different offer mechanisms within the marketplace, which I will take a look at in a second. Not only that as well, there is obviously a difference between utility and yield. So I like to break these down. Some people would say they're the same. Utility could be, for example, gated access to future mints or elements from projects. For example, the Earthlings founders cards, which give you early access as well as reserved amounts of those NFTs to get released, as well as whitelist passes. Access to special features before other users. I think Hbar Spaces employs something similar to this. That if you own a particular NFT, you get access to some additional features on their platforms as compared to other standard users. Also access to sort of future discounts. For example, the ZUSE NFTs, where you can get discounts on marketplace fees, and the Web23 early access NFTs, which of course give you discounts on minting those domain names, which are of course via an NFT. So you're starting to understand that there's a lot more going on here than just JPEGs. A lot of these different NFTs are actually a store of utility of some kind, and some of these can also have yield as well. So a classic example could be a burn and mint mechanism NFT. A great example of this is of course 𝗟𝗡𝗡𝗡, where they've got their 1,111 standard 𝗟𝗡𝗡𝗡 NFTs. If you purchase 5 of those, you can then go through their platform and burn 5 of them to create a master 𝗟𝗡𝗡, which gives you some additional benefits over holding those standard 5 𝗟𝗡𝗡s. And of course that is reducing the supply of those early NFTs, which of course then raises the floor price via supply and demand. Another classic one, which I've covered on recently from some different projects like 𝗟𝗡𝗡𝗡s, like 𝗟𝗚𝗡𝗙𝗥𝗥𝗔𝗟𝗦, is the ability to claim project tokens via websites or Discord servers. And this all kind of started with that source faucet from the SourceSwap team, and something that's been employed by many different projects. And the one that a lot of them are transitioning to now as Hedera begins to rally support with different Hedera improvement proposals is the ability to stake NFTs on the project's website or on another platform. We've seen that via Hbar Suite, a feature that they'll have soon via NFT staking. Hbar Spaces is also making a mint and stake feature on their platform, as well as the projects themselves doing that, Pengupals being one, which we'll look at in a second. I'll show you how you guys can stake these NFTs if you have a valid collection. Right then, so I'm on ZUSE Marketplace right now, and obviously the first thing you guys want to do is obviously log in and connect your wallet if you don't own any of these NFTs and you're looking to purchase one. And you can do that by coming up into the top right hand corner and simply clicking on login. Copy the pairing string if you're on mobile, and then paste that into your wallet. Or if you're on Chrome, you can do the HASHPACK Chrome login, which I'm going to do right now. Okay, so I've just connected my wallet like you would do with any other decentralized application on Hedera to my HASHPACK wallet. And now we have this feature now to view our particular profile, where you can set up some different information if you wish to do so and view any of the NFTs in your wallet that are supported by ZUSE Marketplace. And from there, you can list them. I'm not going to be looking at listing in this particular video, but we'll be looking at purchasing some NFTs. So for example, let's look at some Pengupals NFTs, because I'll be showing you guys how to stake these in just a second via their platform. First things first, we can see that if we actually come to this NFT page, here are all the listed NFTs that are currently available for sale via ZUSE Marketplace. Down the left-hand side here, I am on a desktop, so this may be slightly different if you're viewing this on mobile. You can see several different filters here, and these are the actual different layers that form part of the NFT, because this was a randomly generated collection of 10,000 NFTs via different layers that get put together. And we can see here, for example, say we wanted one with some pink cheeks, you can filter by pink cheeks and then work through it that way. I will say, for example, for this particular NFT collection, I know that the mint numbers, so the rarity, let's say, of these particular NFTs, majority of the whole bodysuit collection are rarer NFTs, and therefore you will see they tend to have a higher value than the remainder of the NFTs that are currently being listed. There are some different ways you can check the rarity. Pengupals' platform itself shows you the rarity of the NFTs that you currently hold, and the other one being NFT Tier, which is a platform built on some different chains, but also works with Hedera, and it calculates a rarity score to give you an indication of the rarity of the particular NFT. And of course, don't forget, just because something's got a particular rarity doesn't always mean it should be a particular price. Sometimes the way an NFT looks in these randomly generated collections comes down to the individual effectively. Anyway, let's say I want to buy this particular NFT here, this cool little dude. I can click on here and immediately it's going to tell me to associate the token. So if you haven't purchased these NFTs before and you are looking to purchase them, make sure you associate the token. You can also see the token ID down here for this particular collection is 0.01122.159. So you'd go ahead and associate the token, success, transaction sent, and then we can see in my HASHPACK wallet over here that it sent me the smart contract to associate that particular NFT. I've already done that, so it's going to fail if I try and do it again. Now, what we can see here is we can either make an offer for this particular NFT, and this is going to go and send that directly to the seller, and then they can respond to either accept or counter offer your particular offer. This could take some time, of course. for the buyer and seller themselves to agree on a price. Once that's then available, you then have the opportunity to buy that NFT at the agreed upon price. You are not bound to buy that particular NFT from that price. So of course there are sometimes you run into issues where people send a lot of offers out with no intention to actually buy, and they kind of time waste. Be aware of that if you are doing this, and the same goes if you're selling NFTs on here. And of course, you could buy at the listed price. So this is 150 HBAR. So I can just go ahead and buy this particular NFT. And you can see that's popped up straight away inside my HASHPACK wallet. I could go ahead and approve this transaction. It's going to take the 150 HBAR from me, and then that NFT will appear directly within my wallet. Now, something on fees that some of you may be interested in. If you scroll down, you can see that the artist royalties are 9% and the transaction fees on Hedera for NFTs are 2%, and that's part of what ZUSE marketplace is taking, or ZUSE's fees are 2%. If you're buying NFTs, you are not charged these fees. The sellers are charged these fees. So with this 150 HBAR, this seller is going to lose 11% of the sale price, so 11% of 150 HBAR, so let's just call it 10%, 15 HBAR, they're going to lose from making this sale. Me, as the buyer, I pay none of these fees, it's all on the seller. Cool, now we've purchased our NFT, we've got a couple of Pengupals, let's look at how we can stake these NFTs on their platform. So I'm now over on the Pengupals.tech website. I will obviously leave this link down in the description. Of course, I urge all of you guys to do your own research, read the things like the white paper here. This has got a hell of a lot of information within it, talking about many different things, from the rarity to their roadmaps in the future, the different sort of infrastructure they're looking to build, the POW token economics, or the tokenomics of those particular tokens, where it's going to be going with the distribution, etc. And of course, that is what we're going to be earning via staking these particular NFTs. Anyway, I'm now going to click on stake over here, and we can see immediately, same for any other decentralized application on Hedera, connect our wallet. So I'm going to click on connect wallet. Again, you can pair with a code, or you can pair with your wallet. So again, I'm on a browser, so I'm just going to pair this with my wallet here, and this is now loading. Cool, so I'm in here now, and you can see immediately that I've got 0 staked NFTs at the top, but I do have 20 of these NFTs in this particular wallet, and I will be able to stake them to start accumulating some POW tokens. Some nice little features you can see here as well. In the bottom right hand corner, this is actually that rarity score I was talking about. So you can see this particular NFT, number 9,275 of the collection, is ranked 3,763 from this particular collection. And I've got a slightly rarer one here, which is Pengupals 6232, which is ranked 96 out of 10,000 within this collection. So it could be said that, of course, this NFT is worth a lot more than this particular NFT. Anyway, let's look at staking a couple of these different NFTs. So I'm going to click on a few of these different NFTs and stake them. So I've selected 3 here just for this example with using the checkmark features, and I'm going to press stake. It's now loading, and if I swing this back into view for you guys, you can see to confirm the transaction in order to stake, I'm going to pay a small network fee in order to do this. Okay, cool, approve. I'm just going to punch in my password. It's going to execute that. And I will be back once that's executed. Awesome, that went through. Unfortunately, my internet dropped literally as I did that, so I redid something off camera and staked one of the NFTs. So we can now see my NFTs within my wallet are 19 and the staked NFTs are 1. I must say this does actually remove them from your wallet and puts them within their sort of escrow wallet, let's say, in order for you to claim against them. And then of course, if you click the unstake button, that will send those NFTs back to your wallet. You will pay a fee to do that. What we can also see up here at the top is this big old claim button with this coin. I believe this number here will continue to increase over time. You can claim this whenever you want, unlike a lot of other claiming features where you have to claim every fixed period. You can claim this whenever you want, and the rewards will continually build, and then you'll be able to claim those tokens. After clicking this button, it will execute a transaction. Now, of course, you must ensure that you've got the POW token associated within your wallet in order to claim these. I will leave that link down in the description for you guys. And again, associating it is as simple through HASHPACK via pressing add token at the top of the wallet and then punching in, which you can see here. So you'd punch this in, and I will quickly enter the token ID for you guys so you can see. So of course, you'd pop in this token ID 0.011828220. token already associated for me in this particular wallet, you'd go ahead and click associate token, and then you can claim your PAL tokens. Of course, you can then decide to hold on to these for the future content that we'll be releasing for Pengupals, such as their Pengu lands, or you can go ahead and provide liquidity on SourceSwap. And finally, you can obviously trade these tokens into something like Hbar or Source if that is what you want to do with them. They are fully liquid tokens and they are yours to use. Anyway, hopefully that's given you guys a bit more information on what's happening with a lot of these different utility/yield projects, NFT projects on Hedera, and shows you a little bit more about how to use ZUSE Marketplace, as I know I haven't actually done a video talking about that in the detail that I've just done. Let's jump across then and look at what's actually happening across the different markets. If we look at the crypto bubbles, we can see over the last week or so, some projects that have continued to do very well. Obviously, Quant being one of those, up 22% on the weekly. I'm still averaging into many of these positions. Quant itself, I'm not averaging into at the moment. As I mentioned, my buy area is typically around the $100 mark. Some interesting stuff as well, as we've just closed out Q3 of 2022. Today is the 1st of October, so we are moving into Q4. A sign that some of the worst may be over. Fund outflows from crypto ETFs dropped 97% in Q3 from the 683.4 million taken out of the ETFs in Q2 down to only 17.6 million removed last quarter, and those statistics come from Bloomberg. So this is showing potentially that it's not as risk off heavy as we may have anticipated previously, and a lot of institutions and equity, or capital I should say, is staying within these ETFs in the equity markets for crypto ETFs themselves, which of course is actually bullish news, and we'll continue to see how that plays out over the next weeks and months, particularly as we've got more information coming out from the Fed and the Bank of England regarding interest rates and their macroeconomic policy. Wanted to cover this as well, as recently we were talking about Helium with their improvement proposals, or whatever they were, the voting to either build on top of Solana or Hedera, and potentially they may be regretting their decision to move ahead with Solana now. So 15 hours ago, the Solana network is again experiencing an outage and not processing any transactions. Developers across the ecosystem are working on diagnosing the issue and to restart the network. More information will be provided as it becomes available. We can see some different updates there. And then after an investigation by developers, ecosystem teams, and security auditors, it appears effective addresses were at one point created, imported, or used in Slope mobile wallet applications. This exploit was isolated to one wallet on Solana, and hardware wallets used by Slope remain secure. While the details of exactly how this occurred are still under investigation, private key information was inadvertently transmitted to an application monitoring service. There is no evidence the Solana protocol or its cryptography was actually compromised. But again, this goes into several different videos I've done in the past talking about the security and sustainability of the Solana ecosystem going forward, and how we covered all those threads talking about how massively at risk the Solana network is. And then again, every couple of weeks, we seem to have a massive outage, something's compromised, or in this case, private keys appear to have been compromised. And then the different development teams are still investigating because they don't actually know what has fully caused the issue. Potentially here, Helium, like I said, will be eating their own hat after they continue to build on Solana. I think that was a big missed opportunity for them not to jump across to Hedera and move forward as a layer 2 on top of Hedera natively. Some massive news as well from the Hbar Foundation with a partnership with Arkadia Global to launch a new real estate tokenization platform built on top of Hedera. Put this in perspective, the real estate markets over in the United States are worth nearly 3.8 trillion as of this year. And then of course, global real estate markets are much larger when they have been aggregated. Leveraging the full suite of Hedera token services, Arkadia Global has developed a real estate property tokenization and fractional ownership solution. Now, funnily enough, this is actually an example that I've used so many times when talking about the utility of NFTs going forward and tokenization of assets like sort of housing and supply chains are some huge use cases that could be tapped into very easily. They are currently processes which are full of inefficiencies and friction, and something like tokenization on a DLT is a major step forward in order to improve that and lower the associated costs with these things. So Arkadia Global, a real-world asset tokenization leader, today unveiled their asset tokenization solution for the real estate market. Arkadia Global aims to leverage the Hedera token service to issue tokens representing fractional ownership in real estate assets. So this will probably be used as an investment vehicle for real estate companies. Arkadia Global's advanced tokenization platform will remove many of the technological and economical barriers for users to access properties at lower investment costs. Today, traditional real estate is facing multiple problems, such as the necessity for buyers to make large investments to acquire property, impacted also by high costs of various intermediaries, agents, and transaction fees. Real estate market liquidity remains low. Powered by Hedera, an enterprise-grade, environmentally friendly distributed ledger technology, Arkadia Global's new asset tokenization platform is set to redefine real estate market liquidity by dividing properties or funds into smaller representative digital token units, with each token having a tangible value that will be available on a marketplace for buyers and sellers. So exactly like what we just looked at for buying NFTs on ZUSE marketplace, this will be exactly the same for buying fractional shares of property or real estate. Tokens can then be bought using cryptocurrencies or fiat, with property documents and proof of ownership being fully managed by smart contracts. The asset tokenization platform will also support sellers and buyers with KYC capabilities featured in the Hedera token service to comply with local laws and regulations. This is an absolutely huge partnership, and one that, if goes very successfully, could pay off in dividends for the Hedera ecosystem, and we can see a ton more volume entering the space. Not to mention as well, the opportunities for tokenization of these assets could then expand further into other real estate markets. They will not be bound by regional legislation. Let's say they will have a global scale for them to take advantage of. This is something that I'll be following closely, as it could be something very, very big indeed for Hedera. Fantastic update here as well from Narioshi, talking about the HASHPACK apps and SourceSwap Labs partnership with in-wallet token swaps. Sure looks like in-wallet token swaps powered by HASHPACK app and SourceSwap Labs, but that can't be right. No devs on the planet could work at such an efficient pace. This is something I've said before about HASHPACK and SourceSwap. These teams are completely relentless and fully resilient when it comes to implementing these different features and tools. They are completely committed in order to provide the best user experience for the Hedera ecosystem, and they are championing what a builder should be doing for a DLT. We can see here directly within HASHPACK, something that will be coming live soon by the looks of it. A swap tab will be added to the top of the wallet, and you'll be able to swap natively within wallet without having to go to any other website, the different tokens from within your wallet. And of course, they are leveraging SourceSwap Labs' functionality in order to provide that feature. That again is something very big and something we should all be excited for. Right then, jumping across to different staking in terms of Hbar. Stader Hedera has just hit 1.4 billion Hbars being staked. This has obviously rocketed forward the TVL. Unfortunately, as we said before, there is an inverse relationship between the total value locked and the APY or APR that you receive on a yearly basis, or the yearly interest rate effectively from staking those Hbars. We have seen that interest rate now fall down to 9.9% due to this huge increase. In fact, there was actually 700 million Hbar that was added to the pool, which I'll be covering in a second. Something to take away though is that they will be increasing the epoch rewards for the first half of October. So from the 3rd of October to the 15th of October, we will be seeing 425,000 Hbar as an emission on a daily basis, an epoch. And this should push the interest rate or the APR up ever so slightly. But unfortunately, as I said, we have fallen down to 9.9%. And of course, that is because of that inverse relationship between the TVL and the APY that we do see over here. So if I jump across, actually there was a good Reddit thread here saying whoever put 750 million Hbar in Stader overnight, you need to take them out because you've plummeted my earnings. Scrolling down slightly, we can see someone actually track this, Blue Bronco. So 750 million Hbar deposit into Stader staking today can be traced back to a Hedera treasury account and would lend some credence to the scenario laid out above. So the Stader staking contract there, the morning account deposited 750 million. Day prior, 750 million was transferred between two different accounts. The account that was funded by another account with 920 million worth of Hbar deposits during May and June. That account was created in May with a small Hbar transfer from 565406 also in May, and then 565406 was created in November 21, about the time the Hbar Foundation was being set up. A couple of days after that, or after 565406 was created, it received a 50 million Hbar deposit from 0.081, which is a Hedera treasury account. So this looks like this big dump of Hbar into Stader Labs has got something in a roundabout way to do with the Hedera treasury. Obviously, that prompts me to talk about the future roadmap and what is actually happening with Hedera's native staking. Of course, I've got dedicated videos talking about the different phases that need to be completed before native staking goes fully live, as well as how to natively stake within your HASHPACK wallet, a feature that is live now. What we can see in the Q4 2022 roadmap is still lots of different stuff going on. So you've got the Swift SDKs, the smart contract access lists, the opt-in merge scheduling, NFT and entity scaling. Community nodes are still on here as part of the decentralization features. This is where basically public nodes can be run, continue on Hedera's path to decentralization through the introduction of set of permission community run mainnet nodes. That is obviously a big milestone once we do achieve that, and it's great to see that is still part of the Q4 2022 roadmap. It'll be fantastic to move ahead into 2023 to squash lots of these sort of misinformed posts about decentralization on Hedera. In fact, of course, Hedera is actually more decentralized than the majority of these so-called air quote decentralized networks that currently exist. Those community nodes will take that one step further. Unfortunately, if we do scroll further down into Q1 of 2023, we can actually see here under decentralization, staking optimizations, enhancement to Hedera native staking functionality to support dynamic consensus weight. And that is the only mention that we currently see of native staking. So potentially it has been pushed out to Q1 of 2023. We have seen no additional information from Hedera or the Hbar Foundation in regards to this. And potentially as well, they could be waiting for some of those large scale use cases to go live, because of course those rewards are going to be funded by effectively transactions. And of course, in order to build up the pots for the rewards to be distributed to achieve those kind of target yields that they'll be looking for to compete with other sort of chains in terms of an incentive, they need the TPS to be at a consistent rate in order to get that kickback from the different fees that are live on Hedera. Rounding up the video then, I wanted to quickly talk about XRP. Some news has come out about the XRP versus SEC case. As I said before, I've been a holder since 2017 of XRP, so a long old time now. I've not added to my position at all since then, as I do have a good entry price. However, I may be looking to add if some of this news comes out to fruition. As we've seen before, though, unfortunately, with updates from Ripple or XRP regarding the SEC motion, they've not always gone to plan. But the scheduling update as of September 12th, 2022, with dates specific to the motions for summary judgment. And we can see those summary judgment dates are in December, if I remember correctly, if I flick through this particular article. So we can see here, December 22nd, party file opposition to omnibus motions to seal. So all of the motions have to be sealed by December the 22nd. So of course, this is probably going to drag out until Q1 of 2023, but we should see a big update from this case in Q1 of 2023 based on the different content that is filed by the different parties at or near the end of December. Anyway, guys, hopefully you did enjoy this video. If you did, drop a like, leave a comment if you've got something to say. I do try and get around to as many of them as I possibly can. I will be looking to do some more shorts in the future on this YouTube channel, showing different things across the ecosystem. So some quick fire content for you guys to consume alongside my main videos, which of course I do every couple of days. If you guys do want to keep up to date as well with me, of course, make sure you're following my Twitter account, as I do post lots of different information over there and I'm fairly active, as well as I can be found on several different of these Discord servers, as I mentioned at the beginning of the video. Anyway, until the next one, I'll catch you then. Cheers.